remember that this time. Okay. So here we are on Tuesday nights. It is your business, our business. We're going to share with you all about the business. I feel like we need to make up a little song. It's our business. Really? It's your business. It's all our business.
It's your biz. It's your biz.
It's your biz. That's right. That's right. So tonight we are just going to be talking about the Young Living business and how it has impacted our lives and those around us, and just some of the ways to do the business and all the good things. So you're going to want to join us for like 15 minutes. That's it. All your time. We'll just cut ourselves off, even if we're done talking. No, kidding. I'm just going to click end in 15 minutes.
No.
Because it's so good. We could talk about this for a long time. But yeah, so we just want to talk to you about, like, what if you could make a couple extra $100? What if you could help somebody feel better and get some income from that? What if you can make like more? What are some of your dreams? What are some of your goals? Like, what if this is the solution? What if you invest in your dreams? So let's talk about that, Kristin.
Awesome. Okay. So my name is Kristin and I live in Vegas and I do not gamble. And, you know, I get a lot of, oh, you do an MLM, or you do, you know, Young Living oils, or you do whatever. Sometimes they'll call it a scheme. And I'm just like, okay, one, I wouldn't be involved in a scheme. And two, if you knew anything about it, right? Because all you're doing is repeating what you hear, like this hearsay. So if you knew anything about it, you'd know that it was partnership and multiple partnerships and a really, really supportive corporate environment. So completely different than what you are probably experiencing if you work for a corporation, where it's all about, you know, kicking people on your way up, right? That's not what it's like here. It is beautiful. So I'm going to start with that, just because I have, you know, experience in the corporate world. And way back in the late 90s, I was an HR manager, HR director. And, you know, sometimes it was tough, right, to be in the corporate world. So this is, you're still within the corporate arena. But man, I cannot tell you enough about how, well, I can only describe it as being beautiful, you know, because the people that we're working with, we're all business owners and we all run our business differently. And we all work together and work off of each other and give each other all these great ideas. So just to kind of give you an idea of what it's like to work within the realm of Young Living. I want to tell you that one of the reasons why I got involved with Young Living was, as a consumer, my husband and I were looking for plant-based cleaners. And we didn't know anything about essential oils at the time. And so we found Thieves, and Thieves Cleaner is phenomenal. And then we worked our way into this whole oil business. And I started doing research because I was like, oh, wow, yeah, okay, this is a multi-level network company. How do you make money doing this? I would love to be able to get my products paid for. And then after that, what's the next step? Like, how do you make money doing this? I started doing research, and in my research, here is what you would find if you started to read about essential oils globally. One, it is a $15 billion industry each year. It's growing exponentially. And by 2024, it'll be a $20 billion business, right? Globally. It's experiencing exponential growth here in America, but also in Latin America and just all over. So for example, Young Living just opened up a market in South Africa. That was their latest market in December. We opened up. So we're in already 26 different countries, and we're able to sell and be distributors in those different countries. Like, oh my God, isn't that amazing? Like you can say, yeah, I have a business and I sell in South America or whatever, right? South Africa, where else? Ecuador, Brazil, Colombia, America, Canada, all throughout Europe, like you name it. So that's really, really exciting. Going backwards a little bit, all I really wanted was to get my stuff paid for, right? In the beginning, because it was like, well, okay, I'll do my husband a favor and like cut back on the bills, right? And so I was able to do that quite quickly. And then you start saying, well, if I can get not my groceries, but everything in the bathroom and in the kitchen paid for, what else can I get paid for, right? So then it was like, okay, well, maybe I'll contribute to the car payment this month, right? Or maybe I'll consistently start paying the car payment, right? And now for me personally, I'm going for the mortgage every month. So that's a big win, right? Like if that's great. Like if you're married and you're a stay-at-home mom, that's a huge contribution for you to be able to do. And obviously, if you're not and you've rent to pay or on a mortgage on your own, hello, it is possible. And that's just the beginning. That's the thing. It's just the beginning. So I want to just mention one more thing. This morning, I got a message from a friend who invests, and he's like, hey, I think Young Living is being acquired. And I'm like, no, that's never going to happen, which it never will. One, because Young Living's been around for 27 years, and it's owned by one individual, one family, one mom, and she's never going to sell. And that family will never stop. Anyway, but the reason I'm telling you this about this acquisition of another essential oil company is because basically an already publicly traded firm, which is in the health industry, it's called Mohawk, they went out of their way to specifically buy an essential oil company that is in no way, shape, or form equal to what our oils have to offer. Like, for example, they're not 100% pure, another class. But anyways, people are scrambling. Companies are scrambling to get ownership in this industry, in this essential oil industry, because they know that it is massively growing in the next 4 years. And they want to get in now, right? So all the more reason for us and for you to consider the business, get involved now so that you can also exponentially grow. That's my spiel for today.
That's awesome, Kristin. Okay, so this is like one of the cool things about being in this business is you get support, like she said, you've got a community, okay? I'm like all about the fun stuff and all of this, and Kristin is amazing with the numbers and the facts and the back it up and that sort of stuff, and way better than I am. But you know what's awesome? Kristin and I are not even on the same team. We are our own separate, we are in our own teams. Like, I mean, you get up high enough, of course, we're going to be in the same team, but it's like, we're working together. We are taught from the very top to like walk with integrity, do our business with integrity. You support anybody, whether they are we call them cross lines, or if they're your upline or your downline, you are constantly supporting each other no matter what. In a lot of businesses, I have seen people hurt so like in such a personal way. And like business is not about personal, it's about business. But when people compete against each other and they are like mean and vicious and like scooping up their business, like that's underhanded. And we're taught from Mary, our CEO, at the very top, you know, you do not do that. You walk with integrity always. So that's like a really cool thing. The other thing, there's so many things about the business. Okay, I'm gonna like tell you a little bit about how come I got into the business, which was totally, it freaked me out. it freaked me out really bad because I didn't know what the heck I did even. But I had started using the products because I was on medical leave from my work for 9 months due to health reasons. The medical system could not tell me what was going on. I thought I was dying. I started having anxiety, depression. I was having symptoms of like dizziness. My eyesight started going. I was nauseous all the time. I physically could not get out of bed. I could not get out of bed. And it was awful. It was just awful. And when the medical system says, we don't know, there's nothing we can do. And you know, they're like, here, take this pill. It's an antidepressant. It might help you. And like, whatever, give me the pill. I'll take it. I'll try it. And I did. I did for 3 months. I hated the way it made me feel. It made me feel sicker. Yeah, took away the anxiety, but it also took away my joy and like any other feeling that you might have. So I took myself off because I'm like, this isn't for me. Like, it's not. This is not how I want to spend the rest of my life. Like, I'm done. If this is it, I'm done. So I started working with a healthcare practitioner named Diane Parnell. And I was working with her because I just needed help managing my emotions. They were big, like 1,000 times a day. I was dying. I thought I was dying. I was going to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought my brain was like leaking out of my ear. Like just all this crazy, crazy things started happening because of like my anxiety and just not knowing. She said, Mel, there's an oil. Do you want to give it a try? It can help you feel calmer. And I'm like, absolutely, like, please. So I started using this oil. And then I found out that it had like a whole little family that comes in this cool little kit. And I'm like, that's coming to my house because if one oil can make me feel that way, what is the whole family going to do? So I started on a journey. Okay. Single mom, 5 kids, and I will tell you, kids can like survive on Honey Nut Cheerios for a really long time because I could not function enough to cook them supper. But when I started to feel the difference and feel better, and I am not a label reader, I am not a researcher, I do not know what those words even mean on the back of products. But because we have an amazing team, there are people who are researchers that, you know, they know and they help, you know, decipher that stuff. And we know it's horrible. We also know that when you get into the research of these ingredients, they're actually causing a lot of the symptoms that we deal with on a daily basis. And we think it's due to something else. A lot of people do not link, you know, toxins with how we feel. Our products, right? Like, because they're on the shelf. Why wouldn't they be safe? We like to think that there's a safety net. There's not. Nobody's looking after you except for you and us. So I started using them and started feeling better. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have energy to make supper. I can go to work. I can play with my kids. I don't feel dizzy anymore. My eyesight is getting better. I'm like, what the heck? And so, of course, I'm like telling all the people, I'm like, mom, you need to like get this stuff, right? Because like you're gonna want to help the people you love, right? Mom, you got to get this stuff. And then I'm like telling all my friends, and they're like, are you sure? Are you serious? And I'm like, get them, try them. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like the bomb. And then I got a check in the mail for $300. And I like freaked out so bad. I phoned Dora, who's like my upline, my support. I said, I didn't make any returns. I did not like, I don't know why they're sending me a check, because when you are barely like coherent enough to work the hours you can work and you have 5 children and you're trying to do it on your own, $300 is a massive amount of money. And I was terrified that I was going to have to pay it back. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Dora, I'm like sending this back. I'm getting rid of it. Like, I don't know what this is. And she's like, Mel, no, seriously, you want to know what that is? That's your thank you check for helping other people. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what? And she's like, no, seriously, Mel, that's how this works. And I'm like, oh, like, really? This is how it works? Like, I help people and then I get helped? Like, how can you go wrong with that? And I seriously like just broke into tears because I have struggled for probably 15 years raising my children on my own and trying to like survive. You are making those choices. And for all the, you know, all the people out there that know the hardness of like, do I get groceries or do I pay the bills? Do I pay the rent, or my kid that's been in shoes with holes for the last 3 months, like, do I finally break down and buy him a pair? Because there is no extra money. You are constantly having to decide what's priority that day, that week, your paycheck time. And so in like $300, I'm like, I didn't even do anything. And I was like so exhausted from working my full-time job that like I could not spend any more time working to make money than I already was. So to get $300, I was like, if this is a thing, I'm going to do it. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I started sharing and I started helping people. And for me, that's what it's about. The paycheck is going to be the bonus. My heart is filled when I hear somebody say, Mel, if you hadn't shared with me, I can't imagine where I would be right now. And that's why I do what I do, because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here today if I had not had this experience of using these products and getting better. And I'm just like, okay. And so it was October when I got my first paycheck, and that December, just before Christmas, I got a paycheck for $700. And that was the first time in 15 years that I did not have to go to the Salvation Army store to go and get my like Christmas hamper. And, you know, they're like, here's your box of your Christmas dinner. And you can go to the shelf and pick out some toys for your kids. And to be able to say, hey, this year, I get to decide. I get to decide what we're going to have for supper. I get to decide what goes underneath the Christmas tree. I don't have to choose between toys that somebody donated. I got to choose that for my babies. And that's powerful because I was still working my job. I still was working my job. I did this in the moments in between after my babies were sleeping. You do it because you have a support team that is there like 100% all the time with you and backing you and helping you. And, you know, just they're the biggest cheerleaders in the world. And we're all happy because we feel good. We're just like, oh my gosh. And so if I can do that for any other mom or dad or grandparent or whoever it is, right? Like if I can give them an opportunity to be like, hey, what if you can make a couple hundred extra or a couple extra $100? Like, how's that going to change your world? You know, because I know for me, I live in a completely different world now because of it, not only financially, but my self-esteem, my confidence, what I'm teaching my children, you know, like there is so many benefits of the business. It's beyond anything that you could imagine, right? Like it is the most amazing thing I've ever been a part of, and I don't ever want to not gift this to somebody else who needs that, who's looking for, you know, a way to be like, yeah, I can't pay my bills today. I don't have enough money for groceries. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Like my kids need some clothes, right? So I'm like, here we are, and here we're sharing.
Yeah. It's such an amazing story. I can only imagine what it would have been like for my mom to have found Young Living. You know, back in the 80s, my father had passed, and so we were on welfare. And And it was definitely not enough welfare to even cover mortgage, much less school supplies and shoes. And so, I was the kid in the neighborhood that some parents would, buy the school supplies for and buy some extra clothes for. And I was at Salvation Army every weekend. And, like, my God, imagine what that would have looked like had my mom had the opportunity. Because I don't even think Young Living was up and running when I was a little one. But I mean, essentially, yeah, it provides single moms with freedom and not, not to say that it's easy, you got to work for it, right? But the support is there to be able to know how to go about doing it. It's not like, oh, here's your kit, good luck doing the business, like it's not like that at all, because there's so many people who are like, okay, yeah, let me tell you how I do it. And again, we all do it a little differently. I know, like Mel and I, we love to have these classes together and we love each other and we just like to talk. And so, this is what we do, right?
Yeah.
But Mel's doing Zooms, independent Zooms or one-on-one Zooms. I do one-on-one Zooms. There's still places that I get to here in Vegas that I can meet and have one-on-ones, personal one-on-ones. I know that that's not possible for some people in some countries. But I know of people who don't like to be on camera and will only email and they make the business work. Like they probably have to work a little harder, right? Because their reach isn't as far because they don't have their, face. And, when you show your face and you share your voice, people can relate to you better, right? But I'm just saying there's a 1,000 different ways to do it, and you can do it and make it your own in 1,000 different ways. Many, many ways to do it, and so much support. I can't say that enough, that there's a lot of people who will say, yes, I will help you. I don't care that you're not on my team. Let's do it together, or let me suggest this, or who's perfect to talk to, or guess what book there is to read, so an abundance of people and resources online, even on YouTube and on our virtual office with Young Living, that we use. And so you can find it in your own way and let it feel like it's you and yours,
Yeah,
you don't have to do it like anybody else.
And you have to take that responsibility and accountability, because you are creating an organization. It's yours. You're like the CEO of your organization. You're the leader. You're responsible for doing those things, reaching out for help from your upline and supporting your downline. So yeah, it's got your twist to it. Absolutely. And there is so many people that have walked this road before you that it is easy to find somebody to connect with, right? Like maybe your upline is doing things differently and you're like, okay, you know what? I see this girl over here. She's like, a Royal Crown Diamond. Okay, I heard of one of the Royal Crown Diamonds. She like hunts wild boars. I'm like, that's my kind of girl. Like, let me go check that out. Like, how do you run that business? So there's like so many different personalities and ways. There's, we don't ever try to make anybody fit into a box. That's for sure. So yeah, so this business is amazing. It is doable. They say that most people fail at this business because it's too simple. And that is the truth. Yes, like Kristen said, you have got to put the work in. You have to put the work in anywhere. But, our business model is epic. We basically, I just tell people, I'm like, I make friends for a living, because you get your own account and you pay Young Living, they ship it to your door. So really, I am just making friends. I'm not handling anybody's money or product except for my own. And that's why we can do it around the world. That's why it's so doable. That is why you are going to be successful, because I love making friends. That's pretty awesome. Like, that's what you need to do. And yeah, it's changed my life. So, and not just mine. Like I have people on my team, people around me that they talk about how it's changed theirs, and the freedom that you get to be your own boss, to be like, this is when I'm working, this is when I'm taking a day off. You know what? Today I am dang tired, so I'm going to recuperate. I'm back at it tomorrow. You don't get that luxury at your traditional 9 to 5 job. Yeah, we have sick days, but I mean, you still got to call in. You still got to do the things. You got to work the hours. Somebody else is dictating to you how you live your life. One of the coolest things I ever heard is take your time or else somebody else will.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
so
just,
true.
right? And so
Yeah.
it's like, here it is. Here is an opportunity to help, you know, ease the burdens, build the dreams, whatever it is that you need in your life, right? Who couldn't use it a couple hundred? I keep saying a couple
No.
hundred extra bucks, 100 extra bucks. Yeah. Totally. Right. So it's amazing. And definitely if you know of somebody that is doing this, right, like connect with them. If you don't know anybody and you want to know more, definitely connect with me or Kristen. Like, here's our heart, right? Like, here you go. We will totally be.
And I'll go back to the time thing. Hey, sometimes I'm up at 3 a.m. Like I'm working. And it's 3 a.m. So if you want to send me a private message and talk about the business at 3 a.m., I'm good with that, because that's just how I roll sometimes, right? I might not wake up at 8 a.m. but right. So I mean, that's the thing about the time, is that you kind of create your own schedule.
Yeah.
And you can work the business at any moment within that 24-hour time frame, right, that you'd like to. So there's just a lot of flexibility. You know, consistency is key, but it's flexible.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
So reach out to us, send us a message, put a heart down here. Also, hey, listen, you might not be interested. If you're interested in the business, awesome. Share and do a watch party. If you're not interested in the business, that's okay too. Share and do a watch party anyway, because somebody else that you know might totally get into this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so watch party it. Spread the word.
Yep, that's right. Do the things. Be that person, be that friend. You never know who needs it, for sure. All right, Facebook world. Thank you for being a part of our journey for these last like 20 minutes. See, my computer didn't kick us off. But we love ya. And you know what? We're going to talk about the business some more next week and have some speakers. It's like an epic surprise. So you're not going to want to miss next week because it's pretty awesome. Okay, see y'all.
See you.